a season again where I am willing to read things out at the table, and that's not everybody's cup of tea. In a lot of ways, the Dungeon Master's job is to keep things interesting and moving and cooking. But I find one, it's a lot to maintain. I got a couple games going right now. I got a couple different systems rattling around in my brain.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
a lot of the times my judgment calls are wrong, straight up. Like my first instinct is 5e or Pathfinder 2e or old school or whatever. Like it's too many things rattling around in my brain right now. But
Sure.
the other thing is stopping and looking it up and discussing it as a group means it happens once. And now everybody knows. It's much more clarifying for the player and for me. Everybody learns the new chromatic orb structure last night. Everybody learned the new deflect missiles is deflect attacks last night. Um, and again, that's season two taste, but I am comfortable and actually encourage people to like try that because a lot of advice out there calls that wrong, and maybe you don't like it. That's cool, but there's value to that, and no one's gonna come and yell at you because you asked the character to describe their ability, and it's worth the 30 seconds.
Well, no, I mean, we've all been, I don't know, if you're an experienced player, you may or may not have been at a table where somebody's playing wizard for the first time. And so they have to read each and every spell out loud. And that's fine the first time, right? But
Yes.
if it's
Well,
every
that's
time, then that's a little bit slows things down.
yes, yes. That's the thing. And the alternative is I cast darkness. And it's just like, okay, you do that. And then it's like, wait, that's what it does. Oh no, no one can see. Everyone's blind except for the dragon that has blind sight that we're fighting.
Right.
Um, that's kind of the alternative. So yeah, like all things in balance. If it's the fifth time someone's cast chromatic orb and we gotta sit down and talk about it for a minute, like okay, now it's an issue. Now you got to know your stuff, or I know it because it's been described to me and I've looked it up and read it, absorbed that information multiple ways, and now I'm just like I just can call it. It's
Yeah. And so
imprinted further in
can,
my brain.
and so can the other players.
Yes.
And that's the other thing. So
Yes.
they could say, no, 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 don't do that because it has this additional effect or something of that nature, you know? Um, so like at one point, the reason we were talking about quantum physics was because Bertram wanted to cast a area of effect spell, but he wanted to cast it with careful spell
Hmm.
because he's a sorcerer, he might be able to do that. But it just didn't make sense. Like the way he wanted to do it was I forget. The paladin was in the middle of three enemies, and he wanted to cast it so the paladin didn't get affected by thunder
I think it
wave.
was it was Thunder. I think well because it came off of him. I think he
Yes,
cast he cast Shatter and then he was gonna cast Thunder Wave as if it were Shatter. I think was the signal cross there.
right.
Yeah, I forget why that was quantum position. Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
I think it had something to do with he was on the other side of a doorway, so
Hmm.
so he wanted to cast it into the next room, but if it's coming off of him, then it has to go through the doorway,
Oh,
right?
there was yeah, and then
So
like we
we
were
made
talking
an
about
analogy,
Craig made a joke about like the quantum slit, like the
yeah,
wave going through the
the double
yeah
slit
yeah
experiment.
yeah yeah yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
what
that,
what a bunch of nerds.
yeah, we need two doors in order for that to work, not one. Uh, yeah, so that was, yeah, well, I mean, this is the type of stuff that comes up.
Oh, I love
So,
it. I
yeah,
love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you learning. It's a learning experience, folks. There's science.